Hello, welcome to Reformation and Revival Now. My name is Kevin Jones, and we are going to continue our study on Balaam, prophet for hire. However, I want to share some things with you that are inevitable. Scandals and crisis, trials and testings. God allows these things to take place. Not only do they prove us, and not only does God use them to develop us, but they also reveal the truth about us, negatively or positively, or other people. Nevertheless, they're set up by God. Maybe you are involved with a person that's controversial, even deadly, like Balaam. Maybe you have a tie, and that person has brought a lot of affliction in your life because of your association with him. Beware of the Balaams, by the way. They always are around. Maybe you are part of a controversial church that just to be associated with it, you're kind of blackballed in the Christian community. Or maybe at your job, you are involved in an agency that's been caught embezzling funds. You're totally innocent, but you're associated with this company or with this agency that's caught up in the newspapers. Or maybe you've been accused of having an affair. Or maybe you're having an affair. Or what about if you're a pastor and you've made some bad decisions, put some people in authority, and they have created a ruckus? Well, what do you do about it? How are you going to get out of this mess? It's a trial, it's a test. Well, I want to share with you some scriptures that I hope to bring edification to you. 1 Corinthians 11:19, it says, "For there must also be factions amongst you, that those who are approved may be recognized among you." 1 Peter 1:6, "In this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while, if need be, you have been grieved by various trials." James chapter 1 verses 2 through 4. "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing." You know, when trials and tests come, you don't see them coming. They just appear. Now, they don't just come out of nowhere, but to us it seems like it. You see, the children of Israel were sitting there in the land, really minding their own business, traveling through Midian, seeing all this. They don't know that Balak and Balaam are plotting against them. They're just minding their own business. And so Balak sees them in the field and calls Balak and says, "Hey, let's curse these people." But the children of Israel don't even know what's going on. And so you see what a trial does. It comes, it's unrehearsed. And that trial and test, scandal or crisis, is going to reveal who you are, both good and bad, and who other people are, good and bad. You know, we think about trials, we think about we're going through this so that God can make us better, and that's true. However, it's also going to reveal who people are, period, whether it's good or bad. And when we continue on the story of Balaam, we're going to see how his heart is uncovered again and again through the circumstances that emerge. Now, I tell you, a lot of you have destructive Balaam type of relationships, which you need to cut off. You know, there's two type of relationships you need to try to avoid as much as possible. One is Balaam, and the other is Jezebel. A lot of times they work together, you know, but usually you'll have one or the other. But God help if you have both. I mean, they can be absolutely devastating. However, they are a part of what makes up trials and tests many times to prove what type of person you are, and also to reveal the hearts of many. Well, when we come back from the break, we're going to get into the rest of the story, or continue the story, and we're going to see the heart of Balaam and even the people of God revealed. All right, we're going to continue our study on Balaam, the prophet for hire. Let's pick it up in Numbers 22, starting in verses 36 and 37. Now when Balak heard that Balaam was coming, he went out to meet him at the city of Moab, which is on the border of the Arnon, at the boundary of the territory. Then Balak said to Balaam, Did I not earnestly send to you, calling for you? Why did you not come to me? Am I not able to honor you? Verse 40. And Balaam said to Balak, Look, I have come to you. Now have I any power at all to say anything? The word that God puts in my mouth, that I must speak. So Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Kirjath-Huzoth. Then Balak offered oxen and sheep, and he sent some to Balaam and to the princes who were with him. Verse 41. So the next day that Balak took Balaam and brought him up to the high place of Baal. From there he might observe the extent of the people. Now I think this is very interesting because it shows you that Balaam plays both sides. He knows how to work with the Lord, but he knows how to work with Baal too. Oh, isn't that interesting? Make a note of that. Numbers 23, verses 1 through 4. Then Balaam said to Balak, Build 7 altars for me here, and prepare for me 7 bulls and 7 rams. And Balak did just as Balaam had spoken. And Balak and Balaam offered a bull and a ram on each altar. Then Balaam said to Balak, Stand by your burnt offering, and I will go. Perhaps the Lord will come to meet me, and whatever he shows me, I will tell you. So he went to a desolate height, and God met Balaam, and he said to him, speaking of Balaam, I have prepared the 7 altars, and I have offered on each altar a bull and a ram. Now in verse 7, Balaam shares his first prophecy, but we won't go into that at this point. Now in Numbers 23, 11 and 12, Then Balak said to Balaam, What have you done to me? I took you to curse my enemies, and look, you have blessed them bountifully. So he answered and said, Must I not heed to speak what the Lord has put in my mouth? Now, as we can see, Balaam's really heart is being revealed, because God had already spoken to him way back when he was in his home country, that don't put your mouth on these people, don't curse them, they're blessed. So did God change his mind? And we're going to find that this pattern is going to continue. Balaam is going to go and seek the Lord, and then all of a sudden God tells him the word, and then he goes to another place and supposedly he's going to seek the Lord again. Well, why would you have to do it that many times? Didn't God make it clear the very first time he told you? But this is what I'm saying. God brings difficulties and trials in our lives to not only reveal our hearts, but others. Now, in this case, this man is constantly pursuing that which he knows to not be the will of God. And the very interesting thing is that he goes to this high place of Baal so he can get a better angle on the people. So Balaam, he works with Baal a little bit and with God a little bit. And this is what you have to really watch out for. If a man is hanging out with Baal, there's 2 things in mind. Baal promises prosperity through sexual ritual. And isn't that really what Balaam used to begin to vex the people of God? Now, I'm getting ahead of myself, but we need to see the wickedness, the other wickedness of this man. He might be gifted. He might even be gifted by God, but he's taken that gift and he's consecrated it to the devil. He's making it work for evil. He's doing wickedness in the Lord's sight, and he's persistent about it. He's not backing away. Even when God appears to him and tells him, prophesies to him, gives him a word into his mouth. Well, you know, when you see somebody this determined to do evil, you know what type of man he is. And so when the Bible exhorts us not to go in the way of Balaam, this is what it's referring to. A man committed to evil because he loves money, he loves prestige, he loves power. Well, in the next video, we're going to continue to follow this theme, and we're going to see his heart revealed constantly, and then we're going to see something about the people of God as well. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.